Good morning. I'm glad you've decided to be here with me today. We are going to share a little bit today about professional learning communities, most specifically how they relate to our weaknesses here at W.O. Lance Elementary. Now, over the last couple of weeks, we have taken a look at some of our deficiencies. And moving forward, we want to determine how to best address those weaknesses. And so we've decided to meet together in a coaching cycle, if you will, after school for 6 weeks. So today I want to talk a little bit about what the format of that time will look like, as well as how we will work together to try to shore up our weaknesses. We, of course, are a first grade group, and I do appreciate all of you first grade teachers for meeting here with me today. And much like the mission of the school, we are here to teach our students how to live, to learn, and to lead. And in the first grade, it looks a little bit different than it would in the 6th grade. So today we're going to focus in on what some of our first grade topics of discussions should be and how we will work towards improving those discussions to drive student learning in the weeks to come. First of all, our goal is to set up a time where we can come together and collaborate. A professional learning community is a group of individuals that come together with a specific purpose in mind. It can be grade level teachers, it can be teachers gathered together to solve a specific problem, but whatever this group entails, it involves a culture of collaboration with the outcome being improved student learning. We want to determine how to decide how to respond to students not mastering material, and that is why we're here today. Within a professional learning community, we want to have time to share best practices as well as some common assessments. So what determines the focus? We've had a previous discussion and we know where our deficits lie within the first grade curriculum, most specifically within the English language learning area. As always, we're going to take a look at data to drive our decisions. So our most recent scores indicate that students scored in the nonsense word fluency section, or the correct letter sound section, poorly. 22% of our students indicate that they're likely to need intensive support. 34% likely to need strategic support, and 44% likely to need core support. This data is not okay for us, and so this is one of our areas of focus. Another area is within the phoneme segmentation fluency. We've got some phonetical work to do, and hopefully in our community we're going to come up with some strategies to address this. But the data indicates that 18% are likely to need intensive support, 13% likely to need strategic support, and 69% likely to need core support. So, with this data in mind, we've got to come together with a format that allows us to collaborate and come up with some solutions. So, you've committed, thank you so much, to being together over the next 6 weeks. Let's talk about duties and responsibilities. Ms. Gilbert, the reading coach, has agreed to lead the discussions with some best practices. I have agreed to coordinate the location and the schedule. We'll meet in the Media Center, as you can tell, between 2:30 and 3:45 once a week. During that time, Ms. Gilbert will present us with some best practices. We're going to collect input from you guys, most specifically in the areas of the English language development. You're going to bring your information to the table. Ms. Gilbert's going to give you some recommendations. We'll take those recommendations, implement them, and then gather feedback from you so that we know how to adjust instruction moving forward. Notice that my piece is that I will be observing implementation for support. Ms. Gilbert will be teaching instructional routines so that we know beyond the shadow of a doubt that the elements of instruction needed for improvement in these specific areas are included in your daily routine. We'll bring information back to the table weekly, and hopefully we will share best practices, what worked for some of you, what did not work for others, and then we will come up with a plan moving forward. Does anybody have a question on that? Okay. If you'll notice, in this particular slide, you see a lot of words. You see regular meetings, you see network, you see experience, and some of the words that best symbolize what a collaborative effort entails. I'm hopeful that over the next 6 to 8 weeks that this coaching cycle, if you will result in great gains in the 2 specific areas that we have identified. Now, how will we know when we get there? We always want an end point. We will know when the data increases and when we are able to formatively assess growth for each individual student. That is how we're going to know when we have arrived. Okay, this information on professional learning communities have come from a couple of references, but at this time I would like to open the floor up to see if anybody has any concerns about our venture. Okay, if not, I look forward to seeing you next week and our second meeting of our professional learning community. And I want to thank you so much for being here this afternoon.